Today's video is going to be something a little bit different for me. I'm going to be using this lens that I don't use very often. I'm going to be shooting all the video on a GoPro, so it may not be the highest quality video that we've ever seen from me. I'm going to be shooting handheld. I'm going to shoot a lot of images, which I don't normally do. I normally only shoot a few, but I suspect I'll shoot a lot today, although I will whittle that down to a reasonable number, 4 or 5, something like that, when I get them back on the computer afterwards. I'm not going to be worrying about back to front sharpness. In fact, a shallower depth of field with a blurred foreground and or a blurred background may well work better for what I've got planned today. We've had some pretty strong winds overnight. The sea's really picked up nicely. First thing this morning it was really dark and overcast and actually not very nice, but there's some light coming through now, and I'm wondering if this is a good chance for me to get out on the beach and try and photograph some waves. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you do and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. By the way, make sure you stick around right to the end of the video. I've got a little bit of channel news that I want to share with you, just about what's going to be happening over the next few weeks on the channel. We've had some pretty ferocious seas coming in over the last night, and I popped out this morning. It's kind of mid-morning. It's the first time I've actually had any light coming through, and I'm just going to have a play at getting some shots of these waves that are breaking all around. And unusually I'm shooting handheld. What I've got is my 150 to 600 lens on, and I'm going to be shooting handheld, keeping my exposure time really short because I want to capture as much detail and texture in the water as I can. It's just playtime really. It's going to be tricky to video this as well. I'm doing all the video on the GoPro, so I'm not quite sure how the video is going to work. We shall see. Certain amount of spray and pray going on. I'm shooting in shutter priority, which is really unusual for me. 1/1000th of a second, letting the ISO jump up as much as it needs to, and I'm shooting in high-speed continuous mode to try to get the best chance of capturing a shot. The wind is actually pretty brutal. I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear what I'm saying now. So we'll have to see. Wind is pretty harsh. Wow, actually getting some light coming through. I'm actually moving a little bit further up the beach now, to one of the other breakwaters, one of the shorter ones. Might open up some more possibilities and also let me shoot in a different direction. Yeah, there's some pretty nice waves out there. Surprised we haven't got surfers out actually. I would have expected some surfers out on a day like this. Maybe they'll be out later on this afternoon. Maybe they're all at work. Okay, that was a bit of fun. Hopefully I might have a few interesting little abstracts from that. Okay, so I know the video's a little bit iffy in places with some dodgy horizons and certainly some salt spray getting on the GoPro lens, which I couldn't seem to get to clean off very effectively while I was out and about. But I think it still works as an idea of what the photo shoot was about, and there is something quite satisfying about that kind of shoot, just, you know, holding the camera and just shooting away. No tripods, no filters, no focus stacking, nothing particularly complicated in there, just pure photography. Now I shot I think about 230 images in the space of a little over an hour while we had some light on the scene. Probably somewhere between 45 and 50 of those had some potential, and I narrowed it down to 5 that I think offer a nice spread of images, and they're probably the best. The light on the scene was actually really important because what we had was light coming through thinner patches of cloud rather than actually direct light breaking through, and that means I was getting some nice light on the waves but not getting the glare that I would have got from direct sunlight. And what that's meant is I've been able to bring up the vibrance and even the saturation on most of these images to get some quite nice colours in there. And yeah, it's probably a little bit unrealistic in terms of the colours that I'm actually showing compared to the actual scene, but I still think they look nice. And probably just one other thing to mention is the sky in a couple of the images. So a few of the images have got some sky in, and you may have noticed that the sky actually looks blue. Well, there's a reason for that. In fact, there's a couple of reasons. One is there was actually a blue tinge to the sky anyway. Maybe not completely apparent in the video, but it was there, even though it was cloudy. The second thing is I've boosted the vibrance and saturation, as I said, so that will have brought out some of the colour in the sky. And the third thing is my choice of white balance. Now, I always shoot with my camera on the direct sunlight or bright sunlight setting. So if we actually look at the image now in Lightroom, which is partially processed, and you can see I have boosted the vibrance and saturation, as I said, and you can see the bluer sky in here. And my white balance is as shot. Now if I change that to, let's say, cloudy, you can see it completely changes the feel, and that's probably more realistic, I guess, but it just doesn't look as nice. You know, if I go to auto, which some people would use maybe in camera, you can see it's a lot flatter. The greens in the water are quite nice, but I still prefer the as shot version with that bluer tone to it. I just think it makes for a nicer image. Okay, so it's time for that little bit of channel news that I mentioned. Like most of the world, Spain is putting in increasing measures to combat the virus, the COVID-19 virus, which is getting everywhere again. In Spain, the regions have closed all of their borders. So, for example, I can't go from Valencian region into the Murcia region. We've got a curfew that runs from midnight till 6 AM. Now, some of the regions, not Valencia yet, but some of the regions have imposed restrictions on unnecessary travel between individual municipalities, individual towns. In the Valencian region, I can still travel freely, but I guess, you know, that could change. Now, I'm hoping we're not heading for another complete lockdown here, but I've decided I'm going to hope for the best, but plan for the worst. So over the next few weeks, I want to try and get out as much as I possibly can and shoot as many photos and as many videos as I can. And that means I want to spend a little bit less time on the computer doing editing. But what I'm also hoping to do is build up a little bit of a catalogue of videos that I can be sharing over the next, you know, weeks, maybe months, if we do go into a lockdown, so that I'm not relying totally on, you know, stuff that I can do in the office. So what I've decided to do for the next few weeks at least, and then we'll see how things go, I'm going to move from doing 2 videos a week, one Wednesday, one Saturday, to just a single video a week, which will be on the Saturday. I'm hoping that will let me build up a little bit of a, as I said, a catalogue that I can keep on sharing over the next few weeks, should we find more restrictions happening as a result of the virus. Anyway, that's it. Quick update. The videos will be coming out on Saturday from now on and nothing on Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please consider giving it a like, sharing it on social media. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the images, the photo shoot, about the fact that I'm moving to 1 video a week if you like. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Oh, don't forget about hitting subscribe if you've enjoyed this and you're new here. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Thank you very much, and until the next video. Bye!